Guys, welcome back. It's me, Neff, for another broadcast of The Weekly. Let's jump right into it. New Superman 2025 movie cast. Every actor and character set to appear in James Gunn film confirmed and reported. Who will lead the way in James Gunn's Superman as he kickstarts a brand new era for the Man of Steel in DC? James Gunn will introduce his new DCU with Superman on July 11th, 2025, which arrives with a star-studded cast that includes both the characters one would expect from a Man of Steel tale and those usually tied to a larger DC universe. So, if anybody doesn't know, David Corenswet is playing Superman, but I was looking through this article and there's a lot of big actors and a lot of pretty talented actors cast in this movie. We talked about this a little bit. We know that the budget is huge for this movie. That has been confirmed, but the cast is pretty solid. Let me run through a couple names here. So I'll just read a little bit on David Corenswet. Here we go. David Corenswet will lead the way in the new DCU as Clark Kent. Kal-El, better known as Superman, the up-and-coming actor will take over the iconic red cape from DCEU star Henry Cavill, who was recast after a cameo in Black Adam. Like I said, guys, this article is going to be in the description, so you can read a little more into it. I'm kind of just running through. Rachel Brosnahan. Hopefully I did not butcher that. Rachel Brosnahan will play the Daily Planet reporter and love interest Lois Lane in the new DCU. Gunn stated Superman will revolve around both Lois and Clark, confirming her to be one of the movie's two main characters. So that's interesting. I haven't really heard of this actress or anything like that. I think it says she's been in, The Marvelous, Miss Maisel with The Blacklist and House of Cards. So that's interesting. Seems like she's kind of played like supporting roles. So we shall see how she does as Lois Lane. Next, Nicholas Hoult is set to play Superman's arch nemesis Lex Luthor in the new DCU, a role he will take over from Jesse Eisenberg. In line with the DC villain's classic comic appearance, the English actor will even be going bald for the role. Luthor is not expected to be the main villain of Superman. Gunn promised on Threads that this new version of the billionaire genius will be different from anything you have seen before. That's interesting. I think that's pretty cool. This guy's a pretty good actor too. I've seen him in a couple things. I know he was in The Menu. I've seen him in a few other things. I think he was in Mad Max Fury Road as well. He was supporting there. But yeah, pretty decent actor. Like I said, you'll see more of this cast in detail with that link in the description. I do think it's a pretty solid cast with pretty solid actors. Let's see how they all come together. We've talked about how this movie has a lot of pressure on it, a lot of pressure on James Gunn. And I just think it's going to be really interesting to see how they actually, bring this whole idea to the big screen, especially with the pressure that they have on DC in general. Next article, guys. Oscars. Chris Nolan says first Oscar win for Best Director means the world. So as we all know, the Oscars just happened. I think it was on Sunday. And it's actually interesting that Chris Nolan, he finally won his first Oscar with Oppenheimer. So let's read a little bit more into this. Nolan was previously nominated in the category for 2017's Dunkirk. Oppenheimer director Christoper Nolan won the Academy Award for Best Director, his first Oscar ever, on Sunday night. Let's read a little more, guys. Their game, led by the incredible Cillian Murphy, a crew, some of whom have been awarded tonight. I can't say enough about the incredible crew that we got together on this film. Thank you to Chuck Roven for putting the book in my hands. The incredible Emma Thomas, producer of all our films and all of our children. I love you. To the Academy, just to say movies are just a little bit over 100 years old. I mean, imagine being there 100 years into painting or theater. We don't know where this incredible journey is going from here, but to know that you think that I am a meaningful part of it means the world to me. And that is a direct quote from Mr. Christopher Nolan. Like I said, article is going to be linked in the description. This is a Hollywood Reporter article here. Pretty interesting that he did win for Oppenheimer. I haven't seen Oppenheimer yet. I'll probably watch it. I know it's probably on Max by now. I'll watch it. I'm not really into Christopher Nolan's time period pieces. I like his mind-bending stuff. For example, Inception, Tenet, not so mind-bending, but Batman, Christopher Nolan, stuff like that. I like Interstellar a lot. I haven't seen Dunkirk either, but maybe I'll give Oppenheimer a shot. Like I said, I think Oppenheimer swept a lot of awards this Sunday, so, the movie is highly recognized and highly awarded. I think it's really interesting that finally Chris Nolan got the Oscar just for this film. I don't think it's his best film, you know what I mean? And of course, like I said, I haven't seen it, but I would say, like, Christopher Nolan's work, I would say probably Interstellar is probably going to be better than Oppenheimer once I watch it. But once again, I'm saying that based off what I like in films and what I like to see. And like I said, I prefer Christopher Nolan's mind-bending stuff. I will watch Oppenheimer, and then I can give a more, educated opinion on both films. And Interstellar is not my favorite Christopher Nolan film, but it is up there, and I say it's probably in my top 3 to 5. So like I said, I'll do the right thing. I'll watch Oppenheimer. I'll give an educated opinion on it, and then from there we can weigh the scales. But yeah, interesting that he got his first Oscar on that. Very cool. Next article from The Hollywood Reporter as well. Ben Affleck's The Accountant sequel moves to Amazon MGM from Warner Brothers. Not only is Affleck back for the action thriller, but so are J.K. Simmons, John Barenthal, and Cynthia Addai-Robinson. Yeah, I'm going to keep reading into this, guys. If you haven't seen The Accountant, awesome movie. Kind of builds up, a little slow in the beginning, but once they get into the action, awesome film. Very good film. Let me read a little more. The Ben Affleck-led sequel to his 2016 crime film, The Accountant, has a new home as it gears up for a production start later this month. The follow-up thriller has moved to Amazon MGM Studios after it was previously in development for many years at Warner Brothers. The Hollywood Reporter has learned THR initially reported back in 2017 that a sequel was in the works. The action thriller is already deep into the casting process and has J.K. Simmons, John Barenthal, and Cynthia Addai-Robinson back on the call sheet after they appeared in the original. I'm going to leave that one there for you guys. Yeah, The Accountant, like I've said, very cool film. There's some plot twist in it as well. But yeah, very well done movie. It's just awesome. If you haven't seen The Accountant, go watch The Accountant. I think everybody will really like it. It's kind of one of those action movies that you don't really expect to be as good as it is. And then when you watch it, you say, oh, you know what? I really do like that. Kind of like, The Beekeeper. Like I said, Jason Statham. We know what Jason Statham does. Action films, that's kind of his niche. But once again, it was an action film coming out in January. So really, the expectations, are they really that high? Not really. We wanted to see what they brought to the table, and it was a delight to watch in theater. So I would say The Accountant is more like that vein. You kind of go in not having too many expectations. You watch it for what it is, and you kind of come out saying, that was pretty cool. So I think I will be in theater to watch the second Accountant whenever they finish that up, and I think it's going to be a decent film. So yeah, The Accountant. Good news on that. Last article for the broadcast, guys. Box office. Kung Fu Panda 4 lands victorious $58.3 million U.S. opening. Dune 2 nears $370 million worldwide. Pretty good week for cinema. The DreamWorks animation family pick easily dominated the Oscar weekend box office in another win for Universal, home of Christopher Nolan's Academy Awards frontrunner Oppenheimer. Let's read a little more. Jack Black's Poe is back after nearly a decade, and he's already receiving a hero's welcome from audiences. I think it's pronounced Poe. Let me continue. Kung Fu Panda 4 opened to a stellar $58.3 million domestic box office, well ahead of expectations and a near series best, and a win for the family marketplace as well as for DreamWorks Animation and parent company Universal. The only other Kung Fu Panda installment to open higher was the first one in 2008 with $62 million, not adjusted for inflation. Along with Black, returning members of the Kung Fu Panda 4 voice cast include Dustin Hoffman as Kung Fu Master Shifu, James Hong as Poe's adoptive father, Bryan Cranston as Poe's birth father, Lee, and Ian McShane as Shifu's former student and arch nemesis. Wow, yeah, that's a pretty big deal for, just animated films and voice acting. It's a real big deal for them, especially with the AI stuff that's really coming into the marketplace. But, Kung Fu Panda 4, I think it's awesome that they can, take this franchise and still continue to make good product and, make money at the box office. For this thing to compete with the first film is pretty interesting. And I think it's a milestone for them because I think Kung Fu Panda has been around for at least 10, 15 years by now. So to see see a franchise continue to be successful this long it says a lot about it. So yeah, we'll see where that ends up. I think Kung Fu Panda is going to continue to make money because it is family friendly and it is animated. It caters to the kids, it caters to the families, and it has that comedy aspect as well. So I think it would do well. You see there, they kind of touched on Dune passing 370 million worldwide. We'll see where that tops out at. They're almost at that 3x, so that's awesome for Dune. We'll talk about Dune on the Popcorn Square podcast, which should be back next week, Monday and Friday. That'll be awesome. But yeah, I'm gonna leave it there for this broadcast, guys, of the weekly. Please like, subscribe, comment, ring the bell for notifications, interact with the video. Appreciate all of it. Keep listening. This is Neff signing off. Be safe.